welcome to another video. In this video we will add this calendar to our app here, so that we can see at which days the doctors are available. So let's start. Before starting, if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. So this is the calendar that is used to see at which days the doctors are available. So we will integrate that in our app. So to use that calendar we can use Flatpickr. So if we go to browser and search for Flatpickr, so this is the plugin that we are going to use. So if I can show you some examples, so this is the calendar that is we are going to use. So we can select the dates, we can set the minimum date, and then we can also disable the dates. So these are some of the features of this calendar. So let's start and then get started, and then on the installation, so let's go to the project, and if I can show you to our gem file, we are using import map, right? Then let's install this calendar in the app through the import map. So let's stop the server and run the command bin-/bin-import map and then pin Flatpickr. So with that, if I hit enter, so it is now pinned in our import map.rb file. If I can show you import map.rb config, here you can see that this is now pinned. We have to reference that one in our application.js to use that. So with that, let's also add a jQuery bin-import map pin and then jQuery. To install any JavaScript library or plugin, we have to use this command ./bin and then import map, and then we have to pin that one. For example, if you want to use Flatpickr or jQuery or Bootstrap.js, then we have to specify their library name. So if I hit enter, so jQuery is also pinned. Let's go to our application.js.rb file, and then here let's import jQuery, right? So let's restart the server. For our server is restarted, let's go back to our app and refresh. Let's open up the console to see if there is any error. So there is no any error, and then let's check if jQuery is working fine. Let's add a onReady function. So this function will be called when the document is ready, and then just console.log jQuery edit, right? So if we go save it and go back and refresh, okay, it is saying that dollar is not defined. So what we can do is we can actually change this import and import jQuery from jQuery, right? And then we can add this dollar to our window object. Window.jQuery is equal to ERY is equal to jQuery, and then window.dollar is equal to jQuery, right? So if we save it and then go back and refresh, okay, you can see that now console log is working fine, and then the error is now gone. So let's try to add the Flatpickr. So before we add the Flatpickr, let's add a div on this part and initialize on which element the calendar will be initialized. So let's go to the index.html.erb, and then this is the second column, call 6, and then in here we can add a input field. Let's make it hidden. Input type is equal to hidden, and then add a class of calendar, right? Save it, and then if we go back to our application, we can now import Flatpickr, Flatpickr from Flatpickr, right? And then we can use that one. So when the document is ready, then we can initialize. We can actually reference this element, class is calendar. Let's get that element, calendar. Let's copy this one and paste it here. And when the document is ready, let's initialize each one .each, because this is a class and it returns an array. So let's iterate through each one, and then here we will get first the index and then element, and on that element let's initialize the Flatpickr. In the Flatpickr, let's add our element and then add some configuration. So without any configuration, let's not add any configuration yet, and let's go back and refresh. Okay, you can see that something is happening, and this is initialized, but its CSS is not working fine. So if we go to our documentation of Flatpickr, here you can see that we can actually use their CDN link, right? And if we go copy the link and go to our application.html.erb, this is our main layout file, and then in here we can actually paste that link. Let's copy and paste it here, and then if we go back and refresh, you can see that on this input field this is initialized, but when we click on it, then this calendar opens, but we want to actually show the calendar inline without clicking on it. So we can add some configuration, and then let's go back to our application.js file, and then here we can add some extra configuration. For example, if I write inline and then true, so if we go back and refresh, you can see that now the calendar is now appear without clicking on the input field, right? So this the inline true, it appears this calendar. So let's add some more configuration. Let's set the min date and min date to new date, like the today, right? And then if we go back and refresh, you can see that the today is 11, and the previous all the dates are hidden because the patient should not be able to select the previous date and schedule the appointment on those dates, right? So I disabled all those ones, right? And then we can set date format, and then for the date format, let's set into month and then day and then year, right? If we go back and refresh, so this will be the date format. When we select any date, we will get the date in this format. So and then let's alt format, right, and then we can set F and then J and then Y. So if we go back and refresh, okay, so if we go back to our index.html.erb file, and here we can actually we don't want to hide, we don't want to show this field as well, right? So let's add a class of d-none on this field and refresh. So that field is now gone. So let's add some of the margin between these doctor rows. So let's go back here and then on this row let's add empty-2. If I refresh, let's add some more empty-4. Okay, yeah, that is looks good. And then let's add a title of schedule over it, and here if I add a span and then add schedule, SCH schedule, right? So if I go back and refresh, this schedule appears, but let's make it center and move this calendar into the right side. So to do that, let's add a class of let's remove this border and add a class of dflex, right, and then justify, we can set justify content and then end, right? So if I go back and refresh, you can see that the calendar is now on the right side, but let's remove this border from here and instead add this border onto the whole row. If I go back and refresh, you can see that now it is looking better. And then let's add a class of let's wrap this two divs in a div and then add a class of text center. Okay, so if we go back and refresh, you can see that it is now looking better. The schedule is now centered, and then this calendar is now a little bit goes beyond this div. So let's fix that one, and let's add a padding or some padding on this div. So to do that, we can actually add a padding to here, maybe -1. If we refresh, so this padding is now also looking good, and here there is some margin. Let's check. If I inspect it, okay, so let's set this margin 0 and padding to 0. So we added this padding on this div. Let's add of p-0. If we go back and refresh, so now the calendar is added, and we can select any date, and then in the next video, when we select any in the next video, we will first highlight the doors on the dates on which the doctor is available, and when we select on any day, then we should list all the timings on which the doctor is available. Like for example, here the doctor is available on these days, but when I click on this date, you can see that the timings are fetched from the server accordingly. So if I click on here, the doctor is available on this date at these times. So yeah, that's all for this video. I hopefully you have learned something new, and I will see you in the next video.